Hello, everybody. I'm your host, Peter Vrionis, back with another episode of the Press Box Hat Trick. Today, I'm joined by a very special guest, Rowan Whyte, who I consider to be an NFL expert. That's why I hit him up. It's been a minute, man. We got to link up soon for sure. But thank you so much
Absolutely.
for being here, bro. I appreciate
Hey,
it.
no problem. It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure.
Yeah, bro. This guy knows his stuff. He might make me look bad, so I might stay quiet throughout the whole episode and just let him have the floor.
Hey,
Uh,
you're not too bad yourself. You're not too bad yourself.
I'm all right. I'm all right. More of a basketball guy, as you know. But yeah, I'm just gonna give a quick shout out to his page. He actually has a football page on Instagram at Huge Football Opinions. So if you do follow the NFL and college football extensively, you'll love that page. Go give him a follow. Go show him some love for sure. And
Appreciate it.
another shout out that I want to give is to the Concordia Stingers football team, who pulled off a huge upset last night against the UDM Carabin. That shit was wild. I was there. I saw it live. I actually had a press pass, so I got on the field at like the middle of the fourth quarter, and I was like a fan at that point. You know, I was just celebrating with all the dudes, screaming. One dude actually told me, he's like, "Yo, you got to chill out. That's not very professional." And then they got a interception to like close the game and seal the game, and the man started screaming. You know, the same dude that told me to calm down, he started screaming. So it was wild. First time in 11 years that they beat the Carabin. So some crazy stat right there. But let's talk about the NFL, shall we?
That was absolutely.
Yeah.
So
Thursday's game.
last Thursday we saw a sick game, eh?
Mm-hmm.
That
Bucks
was
and the
absolutely
Cowboys.
sick. Sorry for interrupting. What did you say?
No, it was Bucks and the Cowboys. Dak Prescott versus Tom Brady. Great matchup. What'd you think of that matchup on Thursday?
Well, honestly, I'll be honest with you. A lot of people who know me know I'm pretty critical of Dak, and I have been in the past. But I watched that game the other night, and I was actually impressed with what I saw. Not only is he coming off of an injury and playing the way he did, but he balled out. The offensive coordinator made him throw way more than I think he should have. He threw, I think, 58 pass attempts or something like that. I think they could have ran the ball a little more, but still, the Cowboys really held in there, and Dak was a big part of that. So I was very impressed with what I saw from Dak the other night.
Yeah, for sure. He threw a ton. I don't know why they did. I mean, Zeke just couldn't get involved. You know, he couldn't get into the groove, and we've actually seen that in the past couple of years. Like he just fades away once in a while. And I'm a
I think
Cowboys fan,
I
and
think yesterday, or not yesterday, Thursday, I think the problem with Zeke wasn't because he was doing the most he could. He actually had a decent game. If you actually like look at his tape, he did not have a bad game. It's just the Cowboys' offensive line is one of their big weaknesses. You know, I thought it going into the season, but I was watching the game on Thursday and I was like, dang man, if they could just fix this up a little, they could actually be like a threat. And I'm an Eagles fan, so hurts me to say that as somebody else has to play them twice a year. But if they fixed up that line a bit, think of that offense. They got Amari Cooper, Gallup, and CeeDee Lamb, who are all very good on Thursday. Our wide receiver Zeke, who definitely has the potential. We've seen it in the past at running back. They have a good team. They have a good team. If that line can stay solid and healthy, they could easily make the playoffs, I think.
Well, it's actually crazy because if we were talking about the Cowboys of the past, their major strength was their offensive line, wasn't it? Whether it
Absolutely.
was Zach Martin, Travis Frederick, Tyron Smith, but now it's a weakness. It's a glaring weakness in their offense, and that could be attributed to them losing a couple guys due to injury, and losing
Oh,
Lael Collins
absolutely.
doesn't help either.
Absolutely. But I think once they're all healthy, they could still be a good line. Maybe even top 15. I wouldn't don't know if I'd go that far, but they're still not a bad line when they're all healthy. But the key is you have to keep them healthy throughout the season. Especially Dak is coming off of an injury, right? Like I don't want to say he's going to be more fragile, but you got to protect him. You can't just let him. You can't let him be done like Joe Burrow. Like Joe Burrow was done last year. You can't just let him get sacked every 4 or 5 plays and just he'll end up with an injury again. So
Yeah.
it's not something you want to see.
Yeah, you can't let him throw over 50 times in a game.
That's
Even
it. That's it
even though
too.
it's a shootout with Tom Brady and you got to go toe for toe with him, you can't. you can't do that because it's not sustainable over the course of a season. Well, like as I said, they did go toe to toe with the Super Bowl champs.
Mhm.
I think the best team in the league,
Mhm.
who have a chance to repeat this year. We know how hard that is to
Absolutely.
do in the NFL, but
Absolutely.
they got a shot. Do you think Dak Prescott can contend for the MVP this season?
If he continues to play like he did last night, absolutely. And this is coming from a guy who's very highly critical about Dak. A lot of this, I've watched a lot of Dak's tape, and you personally, as a Cowboys fan, you know, I've talked to you a few times about my thoughts on Dak. But if he can continue playing like he did last night, absolutely, or I keep saying last night, Thursday night, if he could still play the way he did the other night, absolutely could be a contender for MVP. Again, though, I got to go back to it. It also depends on if his offensive line helps him out. So there's a lot of variables, you know.
Yeah, you definitely can't do it on your own. It's a team. It's a team effort in the NFL. That's why you got 52 guys on a roster.
Yes,
Uh,
sir.
I have another question for you, Rowan.
What's
Does
up?
Tom Brady have another Super Bowl run in him at 42 years of age?
He has another 3 if he wanted to.
Oh my
I mean,
God.
I'm exaggerating a little, but
I
yo,
believe
I'm
it
gonna
though.
be honest. I'm
Wouldn't
gonna be
shock
honest. At halftime, I was looking at his stats and I was like, the stats or whatever. But I was watching that first half. He balled out. He had like 3 touchdowns in that first half. I believe he had 4 total. I don't exactly remember, but I believe he had 4 total. And everybody's gonna think that, oh, 2 interceptions, whatever. But one, you got to remember, one of those interceptions was a Hail Mary that wouldn't have probably, well, actually, it almost got taken back. So I'm not gonna say it wouldn't have resulted in anything anyway. But still, he balled out. He had a really good game on Thursday, and he's 42 years old. So if he can keep doing it now, he's got a really good diet and stuff too. He's got one of the better grinds in the NFL too. So I absolutely think he could do it again, personally.
Look, in my opinion, I think you'd be stupid to say he can't do it again because every single time we've doubted Tom Brady, he shut us up. And look,
I feel like
I'm
he
not a fan.
thrives on that. I feel
I'm
like
not a Brady fan, but
when people say he can't do it, he just goes out and proves them wrong. I remember that clip of Max Kellerman, who's like pretty much saying like, "Oh yeah, Tom Brady's washed, he's got nothing left," and then he went back and won a ton more. So, you, if there's one thing I've learned in all of sports in my 21 years of life, do not doubt Tom Brady.
yeah, I'm right with you, my guy. Right with you. Uh, so I want to preview a few of Sunday's matchups. I want to look at the potential winners. Give me your winners for the matchups and why. So we'll go over them one by one. We'll
Let's
start
do it.
with the Colts and the Seahawks. Who's going to win that game and why?
Okay, now this I got a big opinion on this. The Colts are one of my favorite teams going into the year. They're my dark horse team, and I could easily see them going to the Super Bowl. If they stay healthy, they have a very good roster. Their defense is easily top 10. They have a new quarterback who's young and strong. Carson Wentz had struggles last year, but I still think under a good O-line, which the Colts definitely have when healthy, they got Eric Fisher, Quentin Nelson, some of the best in the league, right? If the Colts can stay healthy and produce, I honestly think they can make the Super Bowl. I got the Colts winning that one.
Okay, that's definitely bold to start it off.
Yeah,
For those of you that don't know, Rowan loves Carson Wentz.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
um, oh, oops.
That's one of my favorite players, Carson Wentz. I think he had a bad year last year. I'm not going to deny that he had a pretty bad year, but also I blame Howie Roseman for not exactly being the smartest GM. So there's a little bit of blame everywhere. He was definitely bad, but he was not the reason. He was not the sole reason the Eagles are bad. Anyway, I can ramble about this for hours, so I'm not
Yeah.
going to get too into that.
Let's just agree that Philly's in shambles and let's
Yeah,
move on. All
yeah,
right.
yeah. No
Sounds good
doubt,
to me
no
as a
doubt.
Cowboys fan. Sounds good to me.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Next matchup Jacksonville Jaguars and Houston Texans. Who do you got?
I got this team in my pick'em league. I got the Jaguars. I think the Texans are gonna go 0-17 or 1-16. Still feels weird to say 0-17, but I don't think they're gonna be a very good team this year.
Well, that's not very bold considering that they're not going to have Deshaun Watson. So I'm with you on that, bro.
All right. Let's see.
Move
What's our
on.
next one?
Your Eagles against the Atlanta Falcons. Who do you got?
Upset alert! I got the Eagles. I got
Shocker.
the Eagles.
Shocker.
But I am excited. This game could go either way, right? Both teams are not very good, right? Neither one of these teams is a top 10 team. In fact, they're probably both bottom 10 teams. I'm more excited to see the receiving matchups. So I'm really excited to see Devontae Smith in his first game, and I'm excited to see Kyle Pitts in his first game for Atlanta. So I don't know. I'm very excited to see some of the rookies ball out.
Okay. Next matchup. A bit of a stinker, in my opinion. San Diego Chargers and Washington football team.
Now, this is rough. I'm on record saying Washington's going to win the NFC East, right? I think they have one of the best.
Okay.
Yeah, bold, I know. Washington has one of the better defensive lines in the league, arguably one of the best defensive lines in the league. Their defense is very good. However, Justin Herbert, if he could play like he was playing last year, I think he would smoke Washington. So if I had to with my gut, I'd probably say Washington, but I could easily see the Chargers taking that one.
So who do you have?
I'm going to take Washington. I'm going to take Washington on that one.
All right.
Take Washington.
Just don't flip-flop on Sunday, man.
No, of course not.
I don't want to hear none of that.
Of course not. You're going to watch all my predictions are wrong.
They could be, man.
Easily. Anything can happen on Sunday, right?
If we knew everything, we'd be millionaires and we wouldn't have to work. So
that's it, right? That's it. Absolutely.
Right there, man. Right there.
Yeah.
Next matchup, I think the one I'm looking forward to the most, Pittsburgh Steelers and the Buffalo Bills. Who do you have and why?
All right, I got Buffalo. Buffalo, I think, is one of the best teams in the AFC. Mm-hmm. I also have Josh Allen as one of my MVP candidates this year. So I really think Buffalo is going to go off. Buffalo's run game concerns me a little bit. There are questions there. I love Devin Singletary. I'm a big FAU guy. I think he has potential, but there are a lot of questions when it comes to their run game. But if Josh Allen could ball even close the way he did last year, I think they're going to smoke the Steelers.
All right. Let's move on to the next one. San Francisco 49ers versus the Detroit Lions, who do have a new quarterback.
Now, I like Jared Goff. I don't want anyone to think I don't like Jared Goff. He's not – I wouldn't call him bad, but I'm going to have to go San Francisco. Okay. Whether they start Trey Lance or Jimmy G, even though they have not – I don't think they've announced it yet.
They announced it. It's Jimmy G.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, my bad. I wasn't caught up. I hadn't seen that. But what I was going to say, whether they start Trey Lance or Jimmy G, I still think San Francisco overall has a way better roster than the Lions. Although, I don't know. I could be proved wrong, but I doubt it. I don't think the Lions are going to come up with the win on this one.
Yeah, I think the Niners got that one as well.
Yeah.
Next matchup, another I like the Vikings. Not the Bengals, not so good. But Vikings and Bengals. It's not a very good.
That's not a great matchup. I'm going to take the Vikings just because I don't trust the Bengals, but I don't see the Vikings. I see the Vikings as max an 8-9 team this year, maybe 7-10. That's right? Yeah, 7-10. Mm-hmm. It's weird doing the math with the 17-game system.
True. It's new. It's an adjustment.
Absolutely.
So yeah, Vikings. I'm right with you on that one. And the next one is the New York Jets versus the Carolina Panthers.
This one's interesting. I like the Panthers this year. And also, I think Darnold really wants to embarrass the Jets. I'm not going to lie. I think if I was in Sam Darnold's shoes, the number one thing I would be going into in this game is let's come out with a win. Let's show them that they made a mistake drafting this guy and getting rid of me, right?
Yeah.
Zach Wilson's a very good quarterback. He balled out of BYU. He's sick. But I think if you're Sam Darnold right now, it's all about I want to show them I'm that guy, you know? You're not that guy, pal. I'm that guy.
Is he that guy, though? Could be.
Could be. You never know. I feel like the Jets really wasted Sam Darnold's potential, which they have a tendency of doing, of wasting some players' potential. Sam Darnold was great coming out of USC. You know, I still think he has it in him. I just think it takes the right coach. So will that be in Carolina? I have no idea. But Carolina's not bad. They also got CMC in the run game. I always forget about that when I do the Carolina picks, which I know it's going to be like how is it hard to forget CMC, but I always forget that they have one of if not the best running back in the game. So it's gonna be sorry, I don't think it's gonna be like a crazy matchup or anything, but I think it'll be a fun game to watch just because of that tension between Darnold and the Jets.
Mm-hmm. Good call. Good call. Next one. Another very interesting matchup. The Cleveland Browns and the Kansas City Chiefs, last year's
All
Super
right.
Bowl finalist.
All right, a lot of people are not going to like this, but I'm going to go with the Browns on this one. I've said it in the past. I don't think Mahomes is going to have a bad year. I just don't think he's going to have as amazing of a year as he did the previous two. I think he's going to have a very, very slight slump. When I say this, I'm reiterating, I don't think he's going to have a bad year. I told people, I'm like, yeah, I think Mahomes is going to perform just slightly less good than he has the last 2 years. And they're like, how could you say that? He's the next GOAT. I'm like, yeah, I get that. He's an amazing player, probably one of the best in the game right now. But I don't know. I could still Baker Mayfield and the Browns. They're sick, bro. And that defense, you know how much I love Myles Garrett. He's easily one of my favorite players in the league. I think the Browns could do it. They almost did it in the playoffs last year. Why can't they do it this year?
Yeah, definitely. The Browns are making some strides, and they're becoming one of the elite teams in the AFC. They showed that last year.
Could you imagine? Could you imagine going back 5 years and being like, "Yeah, the Browns are going to be contenders this year. They're in 5 years, the Browns are going to be one of the best teams." I would have told you that you're full of something. Anyway,
Dude, like you can't even take the Browns seriously. Their fucking logo's a helmet. It's like, but then again, you got to take them seriously now because they're for real.
yeah, they absolutely have the guys. So, yeah,
Yeah, for sure. I'm still gonna go with the Chiefs though.
fair enough. No. That game
Think
is
you're
probably the
crazy.
game of the week, in my opinion. That's easily the most fun game to watch. Is that the night game? Is that
No,
the game?
it's at 4:30. The night game is the Bears and the Rams.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I still think Cleveland's gonna take that one, but it would absolutely not surprise me if the Chiefs took it either. Both amazing teams. Both
It'll be a great game.
that could be like a little preview of the AFC championship right there. Easily.
Maybe, perhaps. Next matchup, Dolphins and Pats. Would have been good a couple years ago, maybe. But
I'm gonna go with the Dolphins.
yeah,
I think everyone expects Mac Jones to be good right out the gate. And don't get this as everyone thinks I hate on Mac Jones a ton. I don't think Mac Jones is terrible. I think Mac Jones is going to be a good quarterback in New England. He fits their system very well. I do think the Dolphins have a better team right now. Dolphins have one of the better corner groups in the entire NFL. Xavier Howard, Byron, Byron Murphy, Byron Jones. My bad. Sorry, I was tripping up on my words.
former
They have
Cowboy.
they have one of the better corner groups in the league. Their defense in general isn't that bad. I think that game really depends on how Tua does. I think there's a lot of unanswered questions about Tua. I think now that he actually has the team, they say that he has the team and he's moving with them. I think if he performs the way we expected him to when he got drafted 5th overall, they'll win that game. But I don't know. It really comes down to Tua, in my opinion. But I still think the Dolphins take it.
Okay. What do you think about this next matchup, Broncos and Giants?
Broncos.
Yeah.
Easily. I think the Giants are a good team this year. I'm not just going to hate on the Giants just because I'm an Eagles fan. I love the Giants' new rookie receiver, Kadarius Toney. As you see, I'm wearing my Gators jersey. I love Florida football, and I watched every one of their games last year, and Toney went off on every single one. Their wide receiver group is good. I just don't know how I feel about Daniel Jones. I don't know if he's the guy. I don't know if there's a lot of unanswered questions. Also, on the flip side, I love Teddy Bridgewater. I've loved him since I was watching Minnesota football back as a kid. That being said, I don't know that sitting Drew Lock was the right call because I think Drew Lock honestly can be a starting quarterback. He's just very boomer bust and he's inconsistent. You'll see he'll have games where he has like 300 yards and 4 touchdowns, but then he'll have like a game where he throws like 3 interceptions. It's very iffy. But the Broncos also have a pretty good defense. They're another team with a very good up and coming corner group. They got Fuller and Patrick Surtain, who are 2 young good guys. So I don't know. I'd have to take the Broncos. I'm not saying that out of bias as an Eagles fan or anything. I'm gonna have to go with the Broncos, but I don't know. Saquon's back too. Actually, I forgot about that. So that'll be a fun game to watch. I'm excited to see what the highlights of that are going to be like.
Saquon had a tough injury though, so you don't know how
Yeah.
explosive he's going to be right off the bat.
True, very true.
Next matchup, Green Bay Packers and the New Orleans Saints. So I think it's a really good matchup as well.
Okay, so here's my thing. I think the Packers are going to take this one. I think the Packers really have that like last dance mentality right now because everybody knows Rodgers is gone next year. Who knows what he's going to do, if he's going to retire or go to a different team, but everybody pretty much knows Aaron Rodgers is gone next year. Devontae Adams might also be gone next year. So I think those two, they kind of want to show the Packers organization like, okay, fuck you. You know, you guys did us dirty. Get out. Like we're gonna ball out, and then you're gonna lose us, and it's gonna be like that thing, like, oh, I'm trying to like the ex girlfriend thing, like oh, I want to make them jealous, so they go, they have an amazing year, they leave, and then they're like, oh, look what we had and we gave away type thing. I don't know if that was a good analogy or not, but that's just how I see it, you know.
I think the last dance analogy was enough, and then and you went over there, but I get it. I get what you mean. I get it.
Not always the best of the analogies, eh?
No problem, dude. No problem. I think the viewers got it. Next matchup, the Sunday Nighter. We previewed it a little bit before. The Chicago Bears and the LA Rams, who also have a new quarterback.
Yeah. So in a year's time, I would take the Bears, but today I'm taking the Rams, right? Stafford is one of my favorite quarterbacks in the league. I think
he's sick.
He's a contender for MVP. Absolutely, especially now that he's on a team or I should say an organization that isn't an absolute dumpster fire. It's going to be cool to see him actually ball out. Plus, the Rams have a scarily good defense. Aaron Donald, probably, in my opinion, best player in the league. Plus, they got Jalen Ramsey, who everyone knows he can ball out. What I'm excited to see is if Justin Fields gets in the game at all. I doubt he will, because I think they say it's Dalton's team right now. Fields, as you know, is my favorite quarterback from this draft. So I'd love to see if he even got like 1 or 2 plays in, even if it was like an option or something. But that game, I definitely think the Rams are going to win, but I think it'll still be a nice matchup. Very, very good defensive matchup on that one.
I definitely think with the Bears, it'll be a lot like a Miami situation last year, like where Andy Dalton starts the year, he does okay, wins them a couple games, but then you know that you're not contending for a Super Bowl, so you hand over the keys to your young stud quarterback and you let him operate.
Hopefully the Bears handle that better than the Dolphins did last year, because in my opinion, they benched Tua and started him at all the wrong times. They started him against the Rams for his first start, which I'm like, why would you start your rookie quarterback against one of the best corners in the league and Aaron Donald rushing against him? And plus Fitzmagic was on a great run before that. So I don't know. That was very questionable. So I really hope the Bears – also, the Bears kind of have a history of screwing up QBs. You look at Mitch Trubisky. He was like I know a lot of people like to meme Mitch Trubisky, but he was pretty decent in college. Like his only knock was he had never performed good against like big teams, but he still has a hell of an arm. And I think if he ever gets, because he's going to be the backup on the Bills, I think he'll still shine in some senses. But I think mentally the Bears kind of fucked up Mitch Trubisky, and I really hope they don't do that to Justin Fields.
Only time will tell, man.
Absolutely.
So the final matchup of week 1, opening week in the NFL, the Baltimore Ravens and the Las Vegas Raiders. What do you think?
This is a good one, actually.
I agree.
I'm gonna take Baltimore, but their running game honestly scares me. Both of their starting running backs are now out for the year with leg injuries. So I don't know. Like, obviously, I know people like to make jokes about Lamar being a running back, but your quarterback can't be your only run threat, you know? You need to have a running back who's actually good. So I'm not even 100% sure what their depth looks like at running back right now. I'd have to look it up, but I don't know. I'd have to see. I want to see how they adapt to that, because their run game could easily be affected by that. But yeah, I don't think they'll lose that one. I think the Ravens are going to come out with the win there.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so that concludes our like matchup previews and all that. Pretty good insight. I think
A little disagreements.
look. I think you're gonna go around 60 to 70% with your picks,
Yeah.
which is
Well,
not,
I mean,
which is
I
not.
also like giving hot takes. You know, like I like giving like throwing a dog a bone, being like, oh yeah, I'm gonna guess. So I like going for bold takes. You know,
Look,
I wouldn't necessarily make bets on all these teams I'm taking to win, but I'm just saying who I think will win based off my own personal. It's also like there's a little bit of bias. I also pick teams whose players I like, so I'm not gonna lie about that.
if you're a sports bettor and you win 65% of your bets, you're making out with some money. So
That's it. You're making profits, so
there you go. There
yeah,
you go. That's all we look for.
that's it.
Now I just want to look at a couple of division winners. Um, Look, we'll start with the NFC. We'll start with the NFC East. You kind of gave your answer already, so I want you to give me your division winner for each division and
Okay.
why in 2 sentences.
Okay. So the NFC East, I already gave you the Washington football team. I think their defense is very good. I think it's stellar, but I think Dallas could also contend for that. Hold on. I'm gonna keep the standings in front of me. It's hard to remember exactly which team is in which division
Yeah.
sometimes. All right. I'll do the AFC first. So for the AFC East, the Bills, I don't think anyone is gonna argue me on that other than Patriots fans, because
Living in the
they
past.
hate the Bills. Yeah.
Yeah.
The AFC West, I think the Chiefs are going to take it again. I think they're easily going to get 13, 14 wins. I don't think anyone would argue me on that.
Mhm.
The North, not the Browns, I think maybe the Steelers can be competitive with their defense, maybe the Ravens with their offense, but I really don't see any team in that division beating the Browns more than once. I don't see any team in that division sweeping the Browns. So in the AFC South, I think the Colts are going to take it. I think the Titans are a very good team, but personally, you know how I feel about the Colts. I told you they're my dark horse team. I
Bold.
think
That
they
is
could
bold.
easily, if they stay healthy the whole year, they could easily be one of the best teams in the league. That's how I see it anyway.
Okay.
On to the NFC. We already went over the NFC East. So the NFC West. This is easily the most competitive division in all of football right now. I think the Rams are going to take it.
Me too.
I think they have the best team in that division. I could see the Cardinals getting close. I don't think the Cardinals are as bad as they were in previous years. I think if Kyler Murray goes off the way I think he might, I think Kyler's going to have a good year. If he performs the way he has it in him to, I think the Cardinals could easily be a 10-plus win team.
Okay. Wow.
If we're going to go to the NFC North, I think the Packers are going to take it. As I said, the Rodgers last dance thing, I could easily see that happening. I could easily see them getting 12-plus wins. So wouldn't be surprised at all by that. I think the only team I think the next best team is the Bears, but I don't see anybody else in that division competing with them.
Mhm.
Finally, the South, I got the Buccaneers. I think they're the best overall roster in football. You saw it last year.
Yeah.
Tom's going to do his thing.
Yeah. Definitely. I agree with everything except for the Colts. I think the Titans are going to win that division.
Fair enough.
Yeah. But everything else, I think you're spot on. I'm going to go. I think you'll be successful. You'll make some money if you decide to put some bones on that. That's for
I
sure.
don't like betting. I had a bet. I used to bet on games back when I just turned 18,
Yeah.
and I'd always get so frustrated watching it. So I stopped. I couldn't watch games anymore.
Yeah. No, it ruins it.
It
Sure.
does.
Yeah. So now I would say dark horse teams, but I mean, you gave the Colts and you gave a pretty strong argument as to why the Colts
Yeah.
are your dark horse team. So we'll
Yeah.
skip over that. But I want you to give me your top 3 MVP candidates.
Top 3 MVP candidates. So I got Josh Allen. This is not in any order, okay? This is not in any order. Mahomes, I'm going to still put, even though I said he's going to have a slump year, I still think Mahomes.
That's just how good he is. You know, like he could have a slump and he'll still be in the thick of the MVP conversation.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And third, Matthew Stafford. I've been talking about it all interview. I think he finally has a good team around him. We've seen him perform at a high level his entire career. I think he could easily do it. Easily. And I'll throw his name in there, even though I hate the Cowboys, I'll throw Dak's name in there too. If he performs like he did last night, or Thursday night, I keep saying last night. If he keeps performing like he did the other night, I could easily see him being in the MVP conversation.
Yeah, dude, I would have Dak in my top 3 for sure, for no particular reason. No
bias, eh?
Not because I'm a Cowboys fan.
No, couldn't be.
No, how could I be so biased?
Yeah. No, you would never.
No, absolutely not.
No. Okay.
So the final thing: Super Bowl matchup and Super Bowl winner, and why? You got
so for the NFC. For the NFC, I got the Bucks. Okay.
Okay.
For the NFC, I got the Bucks. Nobody in the NFC is beating the Bucks to me. Now, for the AFC, it's a bit tougher of a question. I think it's a lot more competitive.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's the Bills or the Colts.
Not the Chiefs.
Colts. The Chiefs are good. I don't see them going to the Super Bowl 3 years straight.
Wow.
A lot of people are not going to like that. I know. I sound like a hater. I get that. But honestly, if I was going to put money on it, I'd put money on the Bills. I'd say the Bills versus the Bucks would be the most likely matchup. Although I could absolutely see a rematch of last year's Super Bowl. Absolutely.
It's definitely not out of the realm of possibility. The Bulls are the Bills. Sorry, you said the Last Dance, and now I'm saying the Bulls. The Bills definitely got a shot to make the Super Bowl. They were right there last year. They were right there. So
absolutely.
Yeah, I could see where you're coming from. I'm gonna go with the Bucks, and you know what? The Browns.
Oh yeah, I like that. I can see that too, bro. Any of the division winners could make it to the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
Literally, any of the division winners in the AFC can make it to the Super Bowl.
That's a bit of a hot take, but you know what? The Browns.
No, it is a hot take, and I understand.
They deserve something nice. They deserve.
You gotta remember, I've been making hot takes this whole time. I've been defending the Colts this whole time. I'm the king of hot takes for that reason. I just maybe not the king of hot takes, but I make a hot take.
Self-proclaimed king of hot takes.
That's it. Number 1 in the world, baby. Anyway, you know how I feel about the Colts, and that's not just me being biased towards Wentz. I think even if they had another strong QB, they could also win. Like earlier on in the season, or not season, earlier on in the offseason, I was thinking that they might even be a team that might trade for Stafford. Me and my buddy's a huge Colts fan. Shout out Saber. I was talking to him a ton about how I really think the Colts might make a push for Stafford, and then they ended up trading for Wentz, and I was very excited. I'm probably going to buy a Colts Wentz jersey, honestly.
Why not? Fuck it, man.
That's it.
But yeah, go Browns, man.
That's it. Go Browns. Absolutely.
I like them.
Dog pound, baby.
Dog pound. That's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for listening. Rowan, it was a pleasure. We're going to do this again soon. And when the Browns are playing the Bucks in the Super Bowl, you'll be my first call, buddy.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, eh?
Thank you, man.
Have a great one, Peter.
See you.